This is Jed MacKay, and you're listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast.
Yes, welcome back, Looney listeners. You are listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast. This is episode 296, and you are with both of your high priests of Khonshu, Rebecca and Ray. Rebecca, hello.
Hi, I can't believe we're closing in on 300.
I know we are. I was thinking about
Yeah.
it. I was thinking about it today as to, game show format, all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah. The answer's always boxer shorts.
So keep your eyes out shortly, Looney's in our social media pages for some details for that. But welcome everybody. We are here again for a Moonshine. It is a another issue from Jed MacKay and Alessandro Cappuccio, Rochelle Rosenberg, issue 14. So Rebecca and I will be covering that. Cannot wait, and it's a special issue as well, Rebecca. Some
Really
consultation,
special,
from Leyna. We're proud to have as a loony as well. Before any of that, of course, a big thank you to all our sponsors and all our patroonies, but a big thanks to our principal sponsors, Odin Saw, Drew Toombs, Daniel Doing, Frank the Think Tank, CLZ Comics, and Dreamland Comics from Schoenberg, Illinois. Now, Rebecca, before we get into, of course, the issue, the discussion that we usually have,
Yeah.
a bit of white noise.
Bit of an exciting drop.
Is this true?
As I was going to bed last night.
Is it true? I don't know.
Who knows? So what happened was an Egyptian TikTok user saw Mohammed Diab and Oscar Isaac and asked them about Moon Knight season 2, and Oscar said, "Why else would we be in Cairo? Or why would we be in Cairo?"
That's crazy.
So, look, they're all known to tease. We've got D23 coming up in September. Hopefully we'll know for sure by then. But it sounds positive, right?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first saw it, and I think I woke up to it as well. It's like
you always wake up to whatever I've thrown at you.
Yeah. I didn't put on the sound at first, so I was just kind of, just quickly kind of look and, okay, what's this about? Mohammed Diab, oh yeah. And then I put the sound on, and the girl at the beginning says, what's this talk about? Everyone's thinking about Moon Knight season 2. Oh my gosh, I lost it. It was great.
I know. I was kind of like, why is Mohammed Diab retweeting this TikTok? I was like, I should look, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. Take it for what it is, loonies. Whether it's a hoax or a joke or genuine, but it seems to be pointing towards a Moon Knight season 2. Do you think this will be something that will be announced at D23?
I think there's some conflicting theories, which is that D23 is just before the Emmys. So some people think Disney don't want to announce it before the Emmys because they submitted it as a limited series, whereas other people are like, well, that was just covering the submission process. If they decided later to, there's no reason they shouldn't announce it. And I have to say, this TikTok stroke tweet, because I saw it on Twitter, certainly suggests that they will announce it at D23 if it's going to happen.
Awesome.
Because I don't, you know what Marvel's like about NDAs and that, and they were all great before season 1 about not spoiling anything. So it seems that they wouldn't even be giving that glimmer of hope unless there was some news. And it's just it could cover other things potentially, like him appearing in other things or films. But it's looking likely that Moon Knight season 2.
Yeah, it looks
No
very.
sleep for us again.
Are you ready to do it all over again,
The
Rebecca?
goal is to try and get to a viewing this time. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, that's very exciting, and yeah, we don't have long to wait for D23. So,
Yeah.
Mario, hello Mario. Mario drops in a line, and of course, Looney listeners, this is a live stream. So again, just a disclaimer: any references to visual aids that we have, and to live comments, it is because we are live streaming. So get your thoughts in if you are catching us now or if you're listening later. I hope it all makes sense. But Mario says that the user may have been Diab's daughter or niece, and reports vary. I assumed it was his daughter.
I assumed it was a random person who saw them on a boat.
Oh.
But
Oh.
I didn't really pay attention. I was just like, oh, it's come from
Yeah.
TikTok and he's retweeting it.
Okay.
So I didn't. And then, but when Olivia posted on the Facebook group and said it was going around Egyptian TikTok,
Yeah.
maybe it is. I mean, it certainly looks like. I mean, it certainly could have been. And I guess that's why he would answer a question from a relative more honestly than a random person.
He seems
Also,
like,
why they were
yeah.
on a boat with him and Oscar Isaac.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I was just like, they're lucky, like I didn't put a lot of thought into it. I was literally
yeah.
absolutely shattered and just finished watching the first episode of Sandman and then just went, I've got to go to sleep. I looked through
Yeah.
scrolling through Twitter and went, what? I was like, couldn't get it to Ray fast enough.
Oh my gosh! So very, very exciting news there. That's the only thing. I mean, I think that's kind of it bombed everything else out of the sun. So, Loonies, you've probably seen it, but for those who haven't, yeah, it is quite an exciting thing, and there will be a link in the show notes there.
Olivia's posted it to the Facebook group too. So.
Oh, and the Facebook group as well. Which I mean, yeah, I was aware as well, Rebecca, but we're slightly elitist in the fact it is a private group. But you could, everyone is free to join. Please join.
Please join the Discord.
Yes. The power. Hey, hello, Chad. It's been ages. It says I think it was the taxi driver. Could have been. You don't know. But yes, so exciting
that
news.
Scoundrel.
That scoundrel, exactly. Rebecca, I love it. Speaking of which, let's dive into our Moonshine review. So yeah, we are treated again, Rebecca, to another. Oh my God, we'll get through it. We'll get to it. But another issue from Jed MacKay. He can't do any wrong. Moon Knight, Volume 9, Issue 14, released the 3rd of August, 2022. Writer Jed MacKay, of course. Penciler Alessandro Cappuccio returns. We had Federico Sabatini last issue. Colorist Rochelle Rosenberg. Letterer Corey Pettit, and editor Tom Brevoort. And we've got a couple of, let me just throw these up on
do it, because I
screen
here. I haven't seen the variants for a while.
Well, I've only got this from League of Geeks, so I'm not sure if it is the full range.
So that's the main one.
The main one, Steven Segovia art, which is really cool.
Very nice, yep.
And the next one is a Spidey variant. It's by Yildirim. And I think
I'm not super fan of it, but I like the just because Spider-Man looks emaciated. It's very stylish. Like I love the doves and everything, but like
yes,
it freaks me out a little bit. But I'm sure the art is very good. It just freaks me out a little bit.
It's kind of like that same thing, Rebecca, of being like a non-involved character on the front cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
it's just
they never quite. They never grab me as much. I know some people like if it happens to be another character you like, but I don't think I'd even get like an Iron Man.
Okay.
On Moon Knight, I just if unless I really hated the main cover, which I don't in this case. So
right, Mario's made a good call here. That could have been the 1970s TV costume. Nick Hammond, I think, was the guy that dressed up as Spider-Man.
Look
Also
at
from
you. Ben.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'm right. Hopefully I am.
I'm
If I'm
sure you
not, then
are.
I just pull that name.
You just made it up. I like that.
Exactly. But also well known from The Sound of Music, one of the brothers
Yeah.
there. But yeah, that could have well been. Hang on. Let me just chuck that up slightly again. Yeah.
I don't know if I watched it in the 70s.
Yeah, I remember seeing. I can't remember how many there were, or there might have just been one, but I did see one. And it was really cool because he got his mind controlled and he was on top of the Empire State Building. That's all I remember.
Well, that kind of looks like where well, I don't know, he could be on top of anything there, I guess.
Yeah.
Something
But
with pigeons.
he's got like saggy boots, so it could be 70s. You don't know.
Yeah, we all wore saggy boots in the 70s.
Dearie me. Anywho, as always, for new issues, especially, very current, latest and greatest, it's available on floppy format and also on digital. Now we do have a bare bones. So listeners, again, if you haven't read this, but you don't mind being spoiled, we've got a gist of what happens, and then Rebecca and I will dive into just the key moments, basically what made this issue, and then any odd comments we may have on writing, art, references, characterizations, that sort of stuff. We'll just bounce around with that. Rebecca?
Yeah. I feel you calling on me to read out the summary.
Excellent. Let me reduce this background music. Hopefully this works. And Rebecca, if you would be so kind.
Let's go. Bare Bones, written by Ray. Mark, Stephen, and Jake. Reese. Mark justifies his actions to take control, and it's discovered that although the identities had found harmony fighting the likes of Sun King, Ernst, and the Society, Mark felt compelled to stay at the forefront after Age of Khonshu. Crushing the Avengers at the whim of Khonshu had not put Moon Knight in a good stead with the hero community, so measures were made by Mark to portray Moon Knight in a more conventional light. However, there were other reasons that Stephen and Jake were pushed to the background too. Mark's insecurities surface, his reluctance to tell Reese about his DID for fear of losing her, someone he cares deeply about. Also, Mark mentions how both Stephen and Jake are the more appealing sides of Mark, showing how little Mark values his own worth. Elsewhere in the physical world, Moon Knight battles Tutor's assassins Nemean and Grand Mal, reflecting his inner struggle inside. His internal struggle inside. Whilst the mind of Moon Knight is not in harmony, his body suffers, and it's at the hands of Nemean and Grand Mal that it all becomes too much. Thankfully, just as Mark comes to this realization, the realization that it's always better to work together, and as he finally agrees to work with Stephen and Jake, in the outside world, Hunter's Moon and Tigra come to Moon Knight's aid.
Yes, thank you, Rebecca. And I just cut that background music short. It was playing silly buggers with your vocals there, so I'll have to put it in post. No worries.
Yeah,
but
fine.
there you go. No, thank you, Rebecca. It was a really, without saying, it was a really internal, I guess, issue.
It's what we've all been wanting. I mean, like we've wanted it, and instead of doing it in sections amid other things, this shone the light on what's happening with the DID and the altars and why Mark's fronting for so long. And we get it all at once, and I think, like you said, the action takes very much of a backseat, but it is a direct continuation from issue 13, where you get Nemean and Grand Mal going off, but to the point where I didn't really pay as much attention to the fights. It was more sort of background dressing, except towards the end to go like, are they really going to take Mark out? Like down, not out, never out.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess without saying, first impressions, Rebecca, it was you highly regarded it was a good, very enjoyable issue.
I think I said on Twitter, impeccable.
Nice.
I think it was a massive payoff. In a way, I thought we would get it, but it's just really nice to see it done so well, and the way, and referring to all the other runs as well, of sort of pulling it together and sort of correcting, I think, a lot of things that we've internally worried about Moon Knight's how it's talked about DID in the past.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
well,
kind of like this
yeah.
is like the real refreshing update of someone who's done the reading
Mhm.
and spoken to Leyna and Douglas and tried to like get that understanding to make sure they're getting the terminology right, but also uh the sort of emotion sides of it right, not just the
Mhm.
and and even with some of the issues that we thought were good in the past, they'll end up having solicits that talk about multiple personalities.
Mhm.
And it's just nice to see it sort of brought up to date, but in a way that just felt very very easy, you know.
Oh, what I
You
mean,
know,
that's the same sort of effortless kind of style that Jed MacKay has.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
he's that's been happening throughout the whole series, and I mean that in the best possible term. It just seems to come so easily to MacKay, and yeah, we can't forget. Lena, our fellow ITK community member, consulting as well. I wonder as well. I absolutely love the issue as well, Rebecca, and I wonder during the consultation because I'm just going to dive into straight one of the points that I picked up,
Yeah, so
and it interested me was yeah when we see the conversation. You know how in the TV show you see Stephen Grant talking to Mark through reflections, or
mhm,
you see typically them in a black room or something just
yeah.
talking. We see here that each of the alters are in their own environment, but they're still carrying
Yeah.
the conversation. So I wonder if that's something that Lena had consulted with, and that's how it is because it's always kind of fascinated us, I think, of how that works in the internal
I think it's
scape.
something that that we've touched on in one of the Understanding DID episodes.
Hmm.
Um
Yes.
look, we all know instinctively that what they did on the TV show isn't accurate
Hmm.
because it needs
Yes.
to be cinematic. Like we know that none
Yes.
of the alters will look like Oscar Isaac kind of thing.
Hmm.
And that there's a lot more most of the conversation will be internal because there's no need to externalize it. Um but no, I really like that, and I saw a lot of casual readers or fans people who haven't been listening to our podcast
Hmm.
uh talk about the different environments and how
Oh,
perfect.
okay. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see it was picked up immediately, and I think that's another part where the coloring is
Oh, yeah.
so clear. You know,
I mean,
like Jake's strip club is just
yes.
beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I love how actually
Not
MacKay
necessarily strip club, but
no, but I like
Sam's
how
club.
MacKay riffs on that as well, and he
Yeah.
actually has Jake mention or Mark. How come all the strippers look like Marlene? So he
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
integrates that into
Yeah.
the characterization that is Mark Spector. So really good, and the colors. I mean, oh my gosh, that's why I kind of sighed heavily when I read out her name, Rochelle Rosenberg. Just
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
this. We can't
Interestingly
say.
enough, though,
Yeah.
if you look at the Stephen panels, I don't think
Hmm.
we've seen her do colors like that before. They're very restrained
Oh yeah,
for
very
her.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
because like before, it's been lots of blues and oranges and reds and pinks, and
Hmm.
like for Stephen, it's almost a white background, like
Which
just
I would
black and
kind
white,
of
which is
yeah, I think suits him. Kind of,
It's
he's the
perfect. I mean, it's literally
corporate.
perfect. You've got like,
Yeah.
because wherever you think he gets his money from, this is clearly an office building. You know,
Yes. Yes, and he's in the high rise somewhere. That's his kind of setting. As you mentioned, Rebecca Jake is in like Jake being the scoundrel. Is in like a seedy bar or a seedy club.
yeah,
It's interesting as well that Mark is Mr. Knight. I
yeah,
mean, I think
yeah,
we touched that before as well, but it's pretty well established here that Mr. Knight really is just Mark.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, no, it's fantastic. Look, I just I'll kick off with one of the key moments. I guess this whole conversation that he has with Stephen and Jake and his justification of pushing them to
mm,
the rear, so to speak, and in the background, is because of what has happened in Age of Khonshu. Like it went totally bonkers, totally crazy there. So Mark has taken it on himself to say, "No, right, look, we're having our look is bad
yeah,
in front of
yeah.
everyone else. I've got to kind of set us straight." And he's very conscious about what other people
And I
think.
wonder
And
if that's because
yeah,
as a child, he was the one who had to deal with that. Like,
yeah,
when people were saying, "Oh, you've got imaginary friend or stuff. He was very aware of how other people reacted to
Yes.
this condition that he was only just starting to see and not understand.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that he's had to sort of used to hiding it.
Mm-hmm. And really having this representative or symbolic of, I guess, what people within a system maybe
Yeah,
go through as well, feeling that you know, I have to try and be normal. There might be this pressure to like, where society says that, okay, you have DID, you have to try and conform to,
yeah.
what
I
society.
thought it was
So I think, yeah.
interesting that the others then call him out on it, but
Hmm.
also we realize how much we've kind of been deceived reading it, and that's where Jed does it very cleverly, is that
Hmm.
we've heard him talk to Dr. Sturman about how he's got it under control, and
Hmm.
we've just kind of gone, oh yeah, he's got it under control, or he's and this is kind of that inkling that maybe it's not, maybe this is a problem too, that Jake and Stephen can see it before we can.
Yes, and Stephen does raise the point that, yeah, look, they were harmonious up until the point, and they reference Max Bemis, the Bemis run,
Hmm.
the likes of Sun King and Ernst and all that. They were working really well together, and it was only until that age of Khonshu that, I guess, yeah, Mark decided
To shut
to push
down,
them.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's, I don't know. It was this big thing that he felt really, I guess, ashamed
Hmm.
of, and just wary that, the Avengers, that there are all eyes on him.
Yeah,
He even gets insecure when the Punisher kind of calls he calls him,
yeah.
and Punisher for all the people. So yeah, I thought that was very kind of neat in the way that Jed used Jason Aaron's Age of Khonshu to kind of explain what's
Yeah.
happening with Mark here. Um, and off the back of that as well, I guess one of the major themes in here is that, and it's reiterated through Stephen and Jake, is that DRD is not the problem. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it's such a critical line. It was in the
Mhm.
preview as well. It's the state of your life, the problems you have, all the things you've done. Has any of that ever stemmed from our condition?
No. Well, they end up just pointing the finger at Mark. Actually,
Yeah,
it's
yeah. I
it's
mean,
actually
this is
all you.
amazing. Yeah, it's all you. You've lost all the money. You've lost all my friends.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, So I mean, I think we always wanted that explicitly stated that, um, you know,
yeah,
although I guess his reaction to his condition has caused some of the problems, but that's Mark still.
yeah. True. But I mean, I like it. It's not kind of hammered, over your head about that point as well. But they do just bring it up. It's
No, I
like,
think if a therapist said it, it would seem
mm,
too much. But having it come from, the people who know you best,
hmm,
um, and know where you're lying to yourself, I guess as well.
yeah. Oh, and we
And
should
also,
also.
Mark, what is your own way of making money? Because clearly
I
you don't.
know. I was I was trying to, where is that? I was trying to read into the panel, and it was just a close up of his fingers
Yeah, like
digging into
gripping
the
the
armrest.
chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, yeah, I was like, what, how are you making it? Like,
Yeah,
is
like
it
you
the
don't
mission,
have your own
midnight
way. You
mission,
just no,
or
yeah, it's like
yeah,
you don't charge anyone. He
yeah,
absolutely doesn't have his own way of making money except to ask the Avengers. So
yeah, yeah. I do kind of, I mean, although Stephen and Jake obviously bring out good points, I do kind of feel sorry for Mark as well, because we have seen him, quite low during this
we've seen
series, and
him
having,
really low.
yeah, just
You
having a
know,
talk with Tigra,
and look, just him just saying that I never want to be loved. That's why I always win. I mean, that's kind of stuff
Mm,
he's heard people say, like probably the Zodiac and stuff like that.
hmm.
Um, but they're the ones who are saying like you don't, you're lying.
Yes, yeah,
So
exactly. So there's the pressure to be normal that Mark has, as well as, him, well, the others calling him out for all the indiscretions, and it's not really the DID as well. And yeah, and I think with the love, I thought that was, you're right, actually, that could have been a reference to what Zodiac said. I thought it was a reference again to like issue 6 of the Warren Ellis run. He says something about not wanting to be loved, or that's why I don't love.
I think it's a theme that's come up
Yeah,
again and again, but I think
yeah,
like talks, in the, I mean, and this is probably just Jed riffing off that, but to make sure it's more impactful as well. But it's certainly stuff that's come up here with like why he doesn't have his old gang around him, and Marlene and
hmm
Beatrice, and then Zodiac sort of ramming that home, like and even Taskmaster, to be honest,
yeah, yeah.
sort of saying, you're a crazy guy.
Yeah, exactly. And we do get a lot of, like you're speaking of Diatrice, we do get a lot of Bemis references here. I was quite
Yeah.
happy to see that. We did get it implied that Marlene and Diatrice had left the country, but to hear her name here, I can't remember if they actually named her before. They probably didn't, but to have her named here was pretty cool
Yeah.
as well. I mean, also again, if sticking with how down kind of Mark is, his self-esteem is really kind of low as well, and that was kind of typified, I think, by the fact that although he wants self-control, right, and he pushes Stephen and Jake back, but he admits as well that he's scared, I guess, of letting them out a bit more because they would be more loved, or they're more affable than
It
himself.
does seem a little bit of that. It is. I mean, it's kind of that sibling thing, isn't it? It's almost like sibling rivalry, in that you want to be with them, but you don't want them to do better than you. Don't listen,
Yeah,
my sisters, to this. Um, or he's really happy he's made this new group of friends or
yeah. Well,
companions, and yeah,
yeah,
if they get to meet Stephen and Mark and Jake, they might not only be put off by him having DID, but also that, yeah, you're right, there's the concern that they might like them more.
hmm yes. And speaking of friends as well, I mean, we are also talking about. I mean, the whole reason why this kind of almost intervention has come into place is because of the events of uh was it last issue or the issue
Hmm.
before last? No, issue before, issue
Issue
12.
before, yeah.
Yeah, where Mark or Moon Knight was about to kill Zodiac in front of Reese.
Yeah.
So that's when Steven and Jake go, hang on, hey, you've crossed the line. We've kind of agreed. You've kind of forced us into this corner and we've agreed to kind of take a back seat, but now you've gone too far. And Mark goes into that as well to discuss the importance of Reese to him. And I thought that was really nice, you know?
It was really nice,
Um,
and it shows very much why Jed picked Reese as the new sort of companion as such.
mhm.
She's a normal person managing a condition. I want
Yes.
to be like her, and it's like, yeah, she is, but
Well, there was a point that came at later where it is like she's kind of managing her condition, but both Stephen and Jake call out the fact that she's not
yeah,
trying to
she's
run
also
away
not
from
trying to
it.
hide it. She's very openly, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
which is good. I I didn't. I mean, if there's one little quibble, I didn't get that sense of it from Reese. Like she seemed like, remember when she saw the blood on Soldier and she ran
yeah.
away because she got. I think she felt ashamed, or I think she was just overwhelmed with this urge to have the blood. I think she didn't own it then,
I
but
wonder if they mean though,
yeah.
like but with Mark, like she hasn't hidden what she is from Mark, maybe because he knew immediately because that's how he met her.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah,
like,
yeah,
she didn't hide it from any of the others either. Like, I don't think she's hidden it from Tigra. Um, so you're right, maybe not the world at large, but at least from that sort of friendship group.
yeah, yeah. Because having said that, actually, and just thinking it through, I think it was around that time then that Mark has that chat with her,
Hmm.
and Stephen and Jake call it out as well. Some of the they quote him basically. Let me just
Yeah,
find it. It's towards the end. Um, I said, oh, was it your words? I take my scars and I make them my weapons. You know, that was that conversation that he had with Reese, I think, all the way back in issue 1 or 2 or
yeah,
something. And he was just telling Reese to kind of own what she has and use that, the pain or what she first thought was an affliction, to use that against her enemies. yeah, so I guess they're feeding that back to Mark and telling him as well, because essentially, again, we see in the real world, Nemean and Grand Mal are actually really beating up on Moon Knight,
Yeah.
and they call it out that, yeah, look, you're only 1/3 of who you can be because you're so kind of conflicted in your head.
Yeah, because you're always holding it back, and yeah.
And it shows as well. Uh, so yeah, that led into why he didn't want to tell Reese. Like, they asked him, why don't you tell her about the DID? And I love that reveal of really vulnerability. That she needs me, but he admits, oh, I need her as well.
Yeah.
Like, I think he does. He does need Reese for like reassurance as well. Like, as much as he helps her, I think the way that he sees her handle herself and her grow, I think that actually just gives him strength. And yeah, I think that's basically what he was saying to his alters as well. And at the end, this all really culminates. I mean, we talked about, I think it was Jake. Again, a little call out. I like how the word balloons, or the captions, or whatever you call it, they're coloured for each altar. So I think Stephen's blue, Jake's red, and Mark is green. But yeah, it all culminates to the fact that towards the end here, the last few panels, Mark, he kind of stutters and, no, I can't. And I originally thought that it was like, I can't, like I can't take this. I can't deal with this. But then he immediately says, I was wrong.
Yeah.
And like, he can't do this alone, can't do it by himself. And so this kind of really, there is a bit of an uplifting feel towards the end of it, because you see a beautiful splash page of Hunter's Moon and Tigra Greer. They were, really great. But not only does he have like a support network outside now, but he comes to the realization that they need to work together, the alters. So I'm very excited to see where that takes him. Maybe a confrontation with Tudor in issue 15, like with a more harmonious Moon Knight.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Sorry,
but
I was just looking at the cover for 15, so I turned the extra page.
Oh, yes,
like,
yes.
It's a really cool cover.
It is a cool cover. I mean, let's, so I'm assuming it looks, again, Segovia, maybe, art. But yeah, we the cover
This
next.
time they're both in reflections. Hey, that's very MCU aligned.
And I like the water. I like how Jake's in the water.
I like the water, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I like
But
the
again,
expression, but I like the expression on Stephen's face.
Why?
And he's got the Hawkeye bandage.
He does. He's getting a little beaten up there as well. But yeah, I mean, Rebecca, other than those references that we talked about, and I think the portrayal of the environments that the alters are in as well. I mean, I just thought it was a really strong issue.
It was a really emotional issue.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, there's not many times you get to have an extended conversation like that. That's quite so. I really love how it was written. So the fighting is all in the background and kind of not irrelevant, but so you're not distracted from this conversation at all.
Yeah. Well, it's a good way. I mean, we're talking about it, how it ties in to the previous issues. Like this, it's made relevant because we're still looking at the current situation. We're still looking at the assassins coming after Moon Knight, but it's just happening in the background, or while this is happening in his head. I think it's a good way to do it. The action was good. There were a couple of things. I saw Jed commented on how much he loved Cappuccio's art in some of them.
So good, yeah.
There's one where Nemean, he does like a back twist kick up to Mark, and I think Jed mentioned that he always feels like he's got a sore jaw every time he looks at it. It's really cool. Some of the moves are really great. You get the sense of movement here. Mark just kicks him. You just see kind of the movement of his foot, but the attention to detail. The man grabs his cape and then kind of pushes himself upwards and kicks Moon Knight up. I think it was really cool. I thought this is the first time we've seen the villains in action, Rebecca. albeit they're kind of almost incidental because of the background thing. I did like Nami, and I thought Grand Mal was a little bit of a
I didn't get a massive sense of either of them.
no,
It was all I
no.
needed for this.
Yes, yeah. I got a bit of a Sabretooth vibe from Nami and
Well, I
and
think we did the last time, yeah. Anyway,
oh, we
but
did as
yeah,
well. Okay, I can't
yeah,
remember.
because it kind of looks that way. So
Yeah, yeah, and Grand Mal. But yeah, I'm assuming we don't see much of them. They're probably in the same vein as Hawley, and those other kind of characters that maybe Jed has
yeah, it'd be
created along
interesting
the
to
way.
see what goes next.
Mm.
But I don't really mind if I don't see them much again. They're fine.
Oh
They're
yeah,
sort of
me too.
generic baddies.
Well, I had a little look at issue 13 again just to kind of get
Uh-huh.
reacquainted. I'm just intrigued by this tutor guy. He just
Yeah, yeah.
so
He's the interesting one, isn't he? And not his flunkies.
yeah. I mean, but funnily, ironically, he's just so aesthetically he's so bland.
Yeah.
You know.
To be fair,
So
Zodiac was a little bit. I don't have a go at me. I know he had the hood, but he wasn't like
yeah.
super
Oh yeah, I can tell.
interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. True, true. Yeah, so this is great. I don't know, Rebecca, do you want to give this a score
Yeah, I
out
scored it
of 10?
highly. I
Yeah.
amended my score a little, but I gave it a
So I see.
9.5. 9.5.
9.5.
I'm
Uh,
allowing for a little bit for. I gave it 10 originally, and I
yeah.
downgraded to 9.5 on second reading. I can't tell you why. I just
Mhm.
wanted to allow a bit of extra
Yeah. No, no,
growth.
absolutely. Yeah, look, similar to yourself, I gave a 9 out of 10, so that's a full moon. Yours is basically a full moon as well,
Yeah,
Rebecca, heading
it's
towards a
basically a big fuck off move.
big fuck, heading towards that, the big,
Yeah.
big fuck up moon. But I mean, I had to just give it a little bit off. I mean, I love the talk and the chat, and I understand the action and how it's utilized here as well.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but I just felt, I don't know, I felt a little wanting a bit more substance with the assassins and the fighting. I understand their role.
Okay. Yeah, I get
It's
that.
just yeah. I mean, they're there to fight. We might even see them a bit more later.
Literally on the flip side, I almost would have been fine with them just sitting down and chatting and not having the background stuff. But
Well,
it definitely
actually,
added
yeah,
interest, like visual interest. Like
yeah, true.
it gave Rochelle chance to like blow off some colors that are amazing, and the
Well,
art is
that's true.
amazing. I mean, I'm never gonna
Oh
be
no,
too critical of getting extra art, but you know,
no. I want to listen again to our review of issue 1, where we were lukewarm about the art
yeah,
because now
I really
it's
don't. 'Cause
it's
I feel so
crazy.
bad.
But actually, I agree with you. Like, because I could have easily just read this without the fight scenes in there at all, and I just almost felt as if you either go all the way or you go nothing. You know what I mean? But again,
I
what I'm
do, but I
saying,
also did really like that
yeah,
there was that kind of visual change, so you could
yeah,
like,
yeah,
you weren't always in one place with it.
yeah,
So
true, yeah,
I don't
exactly,
know. Yeah, I mean, it's a gut feeling, isn't it?
yeah,
Sometimes the
exactly,
scoring is very
exactly.
sort of just how you feel
Well,
at the time.
I've only taken off the 1 mark. Like it's not
Yeah,
like it's not like
exactly,
it's like a 2.
exactly. You've not
So
slammed it, you know.
no, absolutely. So it's just those things. Just really trying to find some points from an already really high standard, I think, comic.
Yeah.
So yeah, Looney's. This is really a great thing. I think I've missed a couple of comments here. Oh,
Sorry, that
is
was
that
Aussie.
is
No, that
Aussie?
was. Yeah, I
Oh.
had a plate on my desk, and Aussie just the door went, and Aussie just sorry.
Sorry, Mario, just catching up here because I went full screen when we were looking at the comics. High stakes bingo with Soldier's Mum. Uh, yes. Well, I want to see Soldier's Mum again. I think, I want to see her reaction to Soldier's new look, so to speak.
Yeah, that would
But,
be cool. I don't know if we ever will see that, but that would be cool.
yeah. And he was talking about Black Spectre. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I've lost it now. When that comment was made, Mario. Apologies. I think that's part of the sequence with the janitor in.
I think that's the bit where they were quoting his words.
Ah, right. Okay, so issue 2, yeah, still very still in that early phase. Yes, issue 2, where he has that talk with Reese.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's issue 2. So no, thank you, Mario. Um, so Rebecca,
Yeah.
we do have. Let me
Feedback.
just put that off. Let me turn that off. We do have not just feedback, Rebecca. We have quotation
Oh,
marks. So
sorry.
thank you, listeners, for dropping your line in. And again, look, a big shout out to Leyna and Doug as well. Leyna voiced how they're very sad that they weren't able to make it. It's just too early. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's just you can
It has
blame.
has to fit in with
Yeah.
my work, so that's what you can.
Oh,
That's that. No, but it's true. It has to fit in with my work because otherwise it's usually the middle of the night for me and better for Americans. But
oh yeah. Well,
if we're
you
recording
can
midweek, we're stuck around fitting it in
just
around my work. So
you can just blame the countries, Australia, and
yeah,
you can
blame
blame
time
the
zones,
United. Yeah, exactly. Sorry,
blame the
Leyna.
world.
But I'm hoping that you enjoy this discussion just as much as we've enjoyed, your consultation and involvement in issue 14. But Rebecca, we do have a couple here.
Yeah,
Would you like to? Do you want to kick
yeah,
off, or do you want to do
yeah.
Lena's one?
I don't mind.
Okay.
Do
Yeah.
you have a preference? I'll kick
No,
off.
no, no.
I'll
Okay.
take Mario's. So
Mm-hmm.
Mario, wow. I mean, really, just wow. It's common wisdom in Moon Knight fandom that the Bemis run is one of the, if not the, worst arcs in the character's history. But Jed not only referenced it in this issue, but also recontextualized it with a minimum of hand waving. For the first time this run, we meet all of Moon Knight, not just Mark, and their exchanges make for some fantastic writing. Some of it has been mentioned in various interviews, including on the ITK podcast itself, but seeing it all laid out like this really makes this issue a manifesto on the character. It's not just talking heads, of course. We also get to see Mooney fighting Liefelder and Lady Minetta. Trademark Moon Knight core. At first, I was under the impression it was a silent flashback, but when Jed dropped the line, "Why are you losing the fight?" it all snapped into focus and my jaw dropped. The entire issue is amazing, and other than some minor confusion about the ending, which cleared up on a reread, practically flawless. 10 out of 10, easy. P.S. Special kudos to the Leyna system for their consultation. Definitely made this better.
Oh, thank you so much, Mario, and absolutely enjoy your live comments and you joining us on the
Yeah.
show as well. So, yeah, I mean, highly regarded, Rebecca, similar to ourselves for this issue, a big 10 out of 10. A big fuck off Moon.
Big
Now
fuck.
I rarely get to swear, Rebecca, so
I know,
gotta
me
give,
too.
give
It's
a...
just nice. It's nice to see it.
It's
Like,
liberating.
no, because it's like on some of my podcasts, it's so like, don't swear, and I have to try really hard. It's like, it's there in the thing. Thanks, Connor.
We'll probably be, not played elsewhere, but it doesn't matter. Here is from Leyna, and they write in, "It's finally here. I've been waiting a long time to get to discuss this issue with all of you loonies. Apparently, Jed learned well from the materials that we gave him about DID, both resources from the internet and stories from our own experiences. Because when he sent us this script, there wasn't really anything that I felt I needed to correct." So, wow, good stuff.
Yeah.
But both Doug and I gave him some feedback about how this script really resonated with us. From the fear of losing our friends if we tell them about our DID, to the mistaken assumption that things will be more stable if we can keep the others from coming out, which actually causes more instability, to the temptation to blame things on our DID that really come down to bad choices that we have made. There were so many things about the script for this issue that felt true to the experience of living with DID. Hopefully, this issue will begin to help others to understand DID better. I'm sure that a lot of people misunderstood the teaser about a war on two fronts and thought that Jake and Stephen were going to cause more chaos for Mark, but instead they are confronting him for not letting them help enough. As usual, Jed is a master at subverting expectations, and in this case, subverting stigma as well. This should come as no surprise to anyone, but I'm going to give this one a blue moon. Leyna, well... Talking about 10 out of 10, talking about 12 out of 10, 100 out of 10, the blue moon comes out. That is beyond 10. So thank you so much, Leyna, and thank you so much. That's really great. I mean, I hadn't read your feedback until then. Really eye-opening that those components of the story were ones that really resonated with Leyna.
Yep. No, I think it's great. I mean, I think they resonated with many of us, but it's even more perfect for them to like for that to be that. I think that's the important thing, is like, like they can resonate on different levels with everyone, but it's important that it stays true to the DID. In terms of exactly what Leyna says for how we all think about DID and people with DID that we might meet. But it's not, and that's the thing, is like, we can all relate to it in different ways, and it shows that we're all still people, and you shouldn't let things like DID get in the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Of whatever. I don't know where I'm going with that. So
I just thought I'd let you round it out.
To have a lunchtime ramble. Right? The next feedback is from Noel, and he says, maybe my favorite issue from the run so far. I really love having the conversation between the alters take place over Moon Knight's nightly episode. Jed seemed to do his homework on DID with a little help from our friend. Thank you so much, Doug and Leyna. Leyna, why? Now I'm doing Tiger with Leyna. I don't know what's going on. So nice to finally hear them say they're not crazy and not sick. They're just a team, and Mark needs all aspects of himself to fight the good fight. I love Mark trying to compare himself to his new friends, but Jake and Stephen reminding him that they're always there and he's never alone. I had to go back and read the issue twice, once for the dialogue and once for the action. I was so enthralled with the conversation, I pretty much ignored the fight the first time through and had to go back and just read the fight as a story on its own the second time. Beautiful work from all the artists. This gets a big 9.5 from me, a big yellow duck.
No surprises, Noel. Big yellow duck, quack, quack. But yeah, no, it's a great, great summary, I guess, of your thoughts there, Noel, and it echoes with all of ours as well. I'm very grateful for Leyna's involvement there. Just the final two, Rebecca. Should I just take both of them? One of them's really short.
Yeah, one of them's really short. It's about the cover only.
Yeah, so first time, I think, comment that I'm aware of, Ayrton Lara writes in. Hello, Ayrton. And he says, cover colorist fucked up. That's the black suit. Yeah.
I mean, it is, but, hey.
So I missed that. What is it?
If you go back to the cover, the design looks like the black suit, but it's colored in white. Like I don't know that it matters. I mean, there's a lot of different suits, but it looks like that's got the chest shield that the black suit.
Oh, I see. Right. Yeah. Yes. Well done. Well, it could be true. I was about to say it could be a Spectre.
But we haven't seen him in the black suit this run, so it maybe they just said keep him in a white suit. But it does. I can see why there would be a confusion about that particular Moon Knight suit.
Right. No, thank you so much, Ed. And you confused me just because I was thinking about the Mr. Knight suit, but thank you.
Okay, yeah, no.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, is there a black suit that I'm unaware of?
Were you not going like, wait, why is Stephen not in a black suit?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, these questions in my head. And finally from Jonathan, thank you so much, Ed, and finally Jonathan Sapsida, one of the valued patroonies. Thank you, Jonathan. He writes in as well. Jonathan's actually, I don't know if you've seen, Rebecca, he picked up some of Hickman, not Hickman's. Gosh, what is it? Mind blank. The guy that did the artwork with Hickman in Black, White, and Blood.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't.
Baccello, yeah. Chris Baccello.
Oh, nice.
I think he got a page from that. You know, when Future Mooney and Little Girl were walking in profile and there was just an expansive space.
Oh, yeah, it's a lovely page.
Got that. Yeah, it's fantastic. Anyway, Jonathan writes in, a great issue that shows an original take on the alters. It references Bemis, as Mario says, but it also undoes all the therapeutic work from the Lemire run, where Mark said goodbye to the alters and Khonshu. Khonshu was back in 11, and now here are the alters. It's an affirming message on DID in a way, and the fact that it's all going on during the fight is a clever touch. The first page is a nice return from Cappuccio, and the colours are really great on that page, and also showing the contrasting alters in their panels. Yes, I think as Rebecca pointed out as well, the colours very well used there. Rebecca, I don't know, did you get the sense of that? I didn't. I lazily didn't bother to try and figure out how that worked in with Lemire.
I didn't either. Well, the Lemire
I thought they combined at the end.
The Lemire run seems like it ends in. Yeah, it's been a while since I've read it. I thought they just I don't
I
know.
thought it was more of
I
an
think
affirming
it's
thing that
left.
they were
I
working
think it's
together as
left
well. But
kind of uncertain
yeah, yeah.
because I don't know. I don't know what the message is if they go away
Mm.
or combine. I think that they just come to some sort of.
I think they,
I
you
don't know,
know,
and then you get to the Bemis run. I think the
yeah.
Lemire run is kind of a story on its own. It doesn't necessarily lend itself well to continuity.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
from when it
yeah,
ends, from where it ends, not from what happens in it does, but
yep,
where it ends. I think because I think before Bemis got the run, we were talking about how hard it would be to follow that. And
yes,
there's no real hook to go back in with.
yeah.
Um,
Well, as Jonathan says, Conchu is taken out at the end of
yeah, yeah,
the Lemire run. So,
yeah,
but we get him in the Bemis run. So,
yeah. He's always
um,
back. It's comic book logic.
yeah, exactly. But no, but Jonathan, great comments. Thank you
Yeah.
so much as well. And of course, I mean, we can talk it till the cows come home about the colours and the art. It's just phenomenal stuff. I took this is how sad I am, Rebecca. I was reading it on my iPad and I took a screenshot of that first page.
Oh, bless you.
Just said I'm going to put that in the back pocket. I'm going to use that because that's because that's so nice. Yeah, it's just really good. So let me just show those who may be looking. Yeah, that one, just brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yes. So yeah. Anyway, that pretty much wraps up our review for this. If you haven't, please, Loonies, go out and get it. Sorry for spoiling it all, but please do pick yourself up a copy. Rebecca, anything? I don't know. Anything you want to shout out? Any upcoming episodes from your other podcasts?
No, probably a DCAU one, but we did some bad films recently.
Oh, no.
I'm not in a good mood with DC movies right now, so no.
Oh, no, that's fair enough. No worries. Well, as always, you can always catch Rebecca on DCAU and Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist podcast. Those links are in the show notes as well, and they're part of the collective, so you can easily catch them from that link there. Next phase, we'll be having an Isla Ra sessions.
Nice. I hear it's a good one.
Yeah, so invited Drew Toombs, one of the top tier patroonies, over. We did it in the Midnight Mission now, Rebecca. So the first Isla Ra set in the Midnight Mission.
Nice.
So we get to meet Reese, we get to meet Soldier. It was a lot of fun. We get to go through Drew's Isla Ra books, which are very cool.
Very nice.
And I have chatted briefly with you, Rebecca, as well. The week after that. So 298, Loonies, we might have a special treat for you. Rebecca and I managed to have a chat with a couple of creators, so we might release that.
Very cool chats.
Yeah, very fun chats. Almost didn't happen, both of them.
The story behind the chats is almost as fun as the story of the chat.
Yes, but so keep an eye out for that. We did mention it before, but I'll let you stew on that, Loonies, as to who we're talking about. Kind of leave you hanging. As always, a big thank you to our patroonies. Go check out patreon.com/ITK Moon Knight for the details there, and see if you're keen to become a patroonie yourself. You can have some exclusive bonus content. I'm going to be releasing a bonus episode for August. This month I'll be chatting Predator and Prey. Why not? Because the movies come out and they've got a new comic book series, so it's kind of similar to Moon Knight. There's a lot of material all of a sudden, so we'll be checking that out. But a big thanks, of course, to Odin, Daniel, Drew, Frank, Justin, Derek, Wayne, Jordan, Josh, Anthony, Russell, Michael, Mario, Matthew, and Jonathan. Thank you so much for all your support. As mentioned, yes, we can't do this without you. We can't do this fantastically kind of formatted show without you. A big thanks to Odin Sword. Check him out on Drinking Marvel podcast. Also Frank the Think Tank. He's on Instagram, Moon Knight Visions. Daniel Doing's fantastic Fringe Night. It's up to issue 6, I think. Original indie comic based on Erie, Pennsylvania's very own mysterious superhero. There's more info on him at cons as well. Go check it out. Support him on patreon.com/Fringe Night 27. Drew Toombs, master of the turntables. Check him out on soundcloud.com/Toombs, as well as Lurk Music with a ck.bandcamp.com. And finally, Dreamland Comics. Use the code MOON to get 20% off their stuff online, and CLZComicsCollectors.com. Think about getting your comic book database in order. It's for a small penny.
No,
You can do that.
No, I can't do that. Everyone else should do it to shame me for the fact that I can't do it. Nobody mentioned that I'm a trained librarian and I have the messiest comic collection of anyone I know.
I was about to say, if you have a system of your own, Rebecca, that's fine. That's cool.
My system is called shove on shelf, keep away from Aussie.
Exactly. And finally, Rebecca and myself, and there are plenty of others as part of the collective. Fantastic shows out there. Go check them all out. Gamma Charge, the Hulk podcast. We've also got DCAU, of course, the DC Animated Universe podcast. And I'll chuck in Trapped in a World, the Howard the Duck podcast. All fun shows. Finally, email us at feedback@itkmoonnight.com. We don't get many emails. It'd be cool to get an email. So check feedback@itkmoonnight.com. We've got a website, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Discord, Get Vocal, and Podchaser. And finally, if you'd like to review us, please do. It'll be a lot of fun. Even bad reviews, we welcome them. We like to improve. Let us know. But yeah. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Awesome stuff. I've heard you got plenty of work to do, of course. Yeah. Don't think about it. Hang on. Let me just. What did I didn't do this properly. A big thank you. There we go to everyone, and I still have the quotation mark going. Big thank you to all our. There they go. There are all our Patreon members.
You got it.
Got it there, and that's all I say. See, I didn't even have to say it all, Rebecca. It was all there. I had it.
It was all there, and you said it anyway.
Okay, I'll do it next time. I'll make sure to just flash those up. Anyway, everybody, have a great one. Thank you, as always. May Khonshu watch over the denizens of the night. Catch you later.
Bye.